What's going on, guys? This is the Anime Association. I'm your host, Anime Addict, joined by my co-hosts Kaio Tim and Ginyu Talk. Today we are discussing MHA Vigilantes episode 8. So, this was a pretty fun episode. I did enjoy it a lot. We got the introduction of the character Captain Celebrity, and I kind of have like mixed feelings on his character. But I wanted to get your guys' overall thoughts on the episodes first, Tim.
Honestly, this episode was mid as hell. This episode was boring. Um, it just didn't do it for me. Honestly, this episode did not do it for me at all. It felt like filler. It felt like it has nothing to do with anything whatsoever that we've got going on. We didn't get any trigger stuff. We didn't get anything with the B girl. We didn't get anything with Stain. We didn't get anything from Knuckle Duster. The one thing that we did get was what you were predicting last week, Addict, is that we're going to get more American stuff. And that was about it. And that's if you can call it American stuff, honestly. Not just because it was just a character. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't get too much, but other than that, I was not feeling this episode that much.
Okay, fair enough. Ginyu.
Well, I quite liked it because as soon as I watched it, I had this beaming smile on my face because I was like, this is so on brand. I was like, yes, Captain Celebrity, tell him why, show him why us Western people are not so popular in the world. Absolutely fantastic. Just seeing him behaving the way he was, and yeah, which sound about it American because he just was so full of it. But hey,
I
oh,
already knew he was. When I was watching this episode, I was like, "Getting you giddy right now." He's gonna be really giddy just watching it. Like, this is how we see America.
yeah, that's how I saw it. I was like, "Yep," and I see no lies told here. But otherwise, but on a real, it was an interesting episode. I wouldn't say it was the best episode or the worst episode. But it was fun for what it was. Obviously, it just kind of confirms also that this Captain Celebrity guy is a bit of a dodgy guy. He needs to be locked up because he's a bit suspect, to say the least.
Yeah. So that's where my mixed feelings kind of come in. Is because like the vibe that he was given was like very fun to watch. Like I felt like the episode was very entertaining, and like his interactions with Koichi was very fun to watch. But at the same time, some of the stuff that he's doing, I don't agree with. Kind of the way that he approaches being a hero. He like puts on like a reputation in front of the crowd and everything. Like he has to basically be like this specific type of person in their eyes, and that's why I didn't really connect with him, but the vibe that he was giving like throughout the episode was very fun in my opinion. But what was your like likes and dislikes of the episode? I know Tim kind of touched upon what he didn't like, but was there anything that you did like too?
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
That's
Okay.
about. There wasn't really too much. Yeah, there wasn't really too much I really liked about this episode. Honestly, there it's a very forgettable type of episode to me.
All right, get you.
Um, yeah, I mean, in terms of dislikes, uh, I wouldn't say there wasn't because, like I said, it wasn't a horrible episode. I think it was, as Tim was saying earlier on, it kind of the only thing was it didn't contribute to the overarching story, which, as we kind of get later into into the season, into the anime season, the time for these kind of episodes become less and less kind of thing, especially depending on how many episodes in the season there will be. So like I said, it wasn't the worst. I did the only Another thing I did like was the fact that just finding out that his wife is suing him, and all the things that he was going on just happened to all his cases that he kind of had been sued for all involved women. Hence why I was just like, this man's a bit dodgy. But then also like the way, I forget her name now. Is it Makiko? Ma-
Makoto,
um,
yeah.
Makoto, yeah, when she somehow when she was on the phone with his wife, and after he just talked about going to a secluded corner or something like that. This, and I mean, that was a bit dodgy. That was a bit dodgy as well. But like I said, not the worst episode, not the best. I just, as Tim was saying, I wish it would probably would have contributed a bit more to the story, as we would have liked to see a bit more trigger stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I actually really enjoy the Makoto character. I think that she brings a lot to the table. She kind of like goes behind the scenes type of stuff and like brings stuff to light, like how we saw last week with Koichi and like being the what she said the crueler, but meaning the crawler and all this stuff. And then this week, kind of bringing to light with Captain Celebrity of like how he's been like kind of cheating in a way of like with his wife while he's like away from the states. So that was really fun as well. But so your overall thoughts on Captain Celebrity? Do you guys like or dislike him, Ginyu?
Um, I would probably say no, don't like him. Especially you know yeah, just the way he behaves. I mean, like I said, it is on brand with Western behavior, not just specifically American behavior, but just Western behavior. So it was kind of like, oh shit, I'm watching. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. This is actually what Japanese people think we actually behave like because they actually think we're a bunch of weirdos. But also, then but also like when you then think about it in hindsight, where you then eventually later on in the future we're gonna get Stars and Stripes. Kind of it was a bit of a good feeling to know where you know from basically starting from the bottom to eventually get into the top with Stars and Stripes. So it was a good feeling to then kind of feel that eventually this is going to be course corrected, and the respect for these kind of Western characters is going to eventually come down the line. But as of right now, Captain Celebrity can get go in the bin if I had to pick.
All right, Tim.
I feel kind of the same way, honestly. I think with them bringing up the fact that he's remained in the top 10 for the last 10 years, uh, I I hope they expand on that a little bit more, just to show us why he stays in the top 10. Because a top 10 hero, from at least what we know in the MHA, like in Japan, right, is they actually contribute to keeping the citizens safe. And while we've seen him, I guess, like saving people, it's all for rebranding purposes to him. Uh, and I could care less about him actually being in the story, because we haven't seen him interact with anybody of relevance in the story besides, like Koichi, right? The only thing that makes me wonder is, does he know Koichi is the crawler? That's the only thing I've been trying to figure out, is if he knows that he is the crawler, and he just, of course, isn't going to reveal who he is, because if you're going by, if you're hiding who you are, then there's a reason why. So he might be playing by, the superhero guidebook of, you don't reveal a person's identity type of thing. So that's the only thing about him specifically that interests me a little tiny bit, is if he actually knows Koichi and the Crueler are the same. But other than that, just like again you said, ball him up, throw him in a bin. I could care.
Yeah, yeah. I more so dislike him than I do like him, but I kind of feel like his popularity stems from the fact that he puts himself in that limelight and allows so many people to only see the good parts of what he does. Because obviously we see that he kind of takes things into his own hands. He with the whole building thing, like he just straight up like destroyed the building without even like checking with anybody around and seeing like because another thing was that there was two people still in there, and one of the things that happened was he allowed Koichi to carry the 500-pound man instead of him carrying the 500-pound man when he has superhuman strength. He just wanted to have the reputation of saving the girl, which he'd always done, throughout the stage and throughout Japan that we have seen so far. But with all that, who do you guys want to see more of in the series? Tim?
That's a good question. You talking about just like I
Just any
guess
hero.
of people, like any hero at all, or just characters in the story?
What characters in the story, yeah.
Um I really want to know more about Knuckle Duster. Honestly, that's really the person I want to know more about is who he is and what his real motivation is. Like what it is that's got him wanting to be as like hardcore when it comes to the trigger that he is, because obviously he's got a connection to B. He's obviously is like emotionally connected to the trigger. So it's like why? That's really what I want to know is why. I have a feeling it's going to be something sad, but I just want to know more about him personally, and I wouldn't mind seeing some more Mount Lady or whatever her
Yeah. All
name
right.
is. Just step on me.
All right. Getting you.
I completely forgot their names, but the gang who's led by the guy with the spikes,
Oh,
who
Soga, isn't that
yeah,
his name?
who were affected when B did the trigger on them, kind of make it accelerating their quirks and everything. I think I quite like them, and it'll be good to see them a bit more because I think there is something about their dynamic that intrigues me. And I mean, they seem like delinquents, fine, but like at the core of it, they just seem like regular just dudes that just want to chill and obviously get into a little bit of trouble. So I think I quite like that, and especially just having seen that episode when they came out of the hospital where they were just chilling outside and be like, "Oh yeah, do you want to fly again?" He was like, "Nah, caused me a madness and all of that stuff." So I think they're the ones I'd like to see again, get a bit more, not a full episode, but get them in a bit more because they did seem a little bit more interesting than what was put out.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely want to see more of Knuckle Duster. Like Tim said, he's my favorite character. So I feel like the last two episodes we haven't really seen much of him, and I would like to, kind of focus back on him. I would like to see more of some of the other heroes like All Might and Eraserhead and Midnight and all of them. I feel like we've only got like just a taste of them in this series. Um, because even though the focus is vigilantes, the heroes are still around and they're still part
Mhm.
of the main story. So I feel like we should be seeing more of them. But at the end of the episode, Koichi's mom shows up, and she is a very strict mom, and she has been told by Koichi that he has a girlfriend. She asked to see that girlfriend, and that's how the episode ends. Who do you guys think that'll be if Pop Step might kind of play that role, or maybe Makoto? What do you think, Tim?
That was in a preview for next episode.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the preview, but going off of, I thought I missed something in the episode, but it's probably gonna be Pop Step. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's kind of where I feel like they're kind of leaning towards. It might be Nah, I think it might be Makoto just because she's also a college student, so I think it would make more sense. But I think we're going to see like Pop Step start to get like a little bit more jealous, see a little bit more of the jealousy. I have a feeling that that's kind of what the main focus is about to be on a little bit is about building their bond, their friendship, relationship, whatever. Uh, because I don't see any other reason as to why we just stopped dealing with Trigger and everything. So I'm guessing we're about to start focusing more on that aspect of the vigilante crew.
Yeah, I do also think it's gonna be Pop Step based off of her reaction from when he said it. She was kind of embarrassed and just like straight up ran away. So I feel like her feelings for him is gonna come into the forelight because I feel like with everything since we found out that he saved her when she was a kid has kind of focused on their relationship and her feelings for him. But what about you, Ginyu?
I think I was going to go with what Tim said. I think it might be Makoto because I think Pop Step. If he asks her, she's probably going to be like, whatever, no, this, whatever. Whereas like, because she'd probably be like, oh yeah, I can do that. With a maybe next time you help me with another little street interview and all of this stuff, we can make a deal, kind of thing. And then she ends up doing it. Yeah, I think because of the way Pop Step behaves, I think it probably will go over her head and she won't be able to handle it, and that's where he'll probably end up asking her, Makoto, as the cover, because I think technically, I think it feels so much better him asking her as well, because I think she's a bit more fun, anyways. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's going to wrap things up. You guys let us know down in the comments your thoughts on this episode and any predictions you might have for episode 9. Do not forget to like and subscribe as well. That'll help us out a lot. And we will catch you next week.